Hello, Internet. It is I, the Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today we're going to be talking about Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. This is from Dreamworks. They have a very, very, very long history. um, Starting back in the late 90s with Ants, and then they were doing moderate, and then Shrek came out, and that changed everything for them. And then Shrek became like their big franchise because Shrek 2 destroyed the box office, absolutely demolished it, and it's still their highest grossing movie to this day. And ever since, they've had a decent amount of success. You know, Shark Tale did fine. Madagascar became another big franchise for them. Over the Hedge did okay, but that didn't turn into a franchise. Same goes for Shark Tale. Then you got Shrek the Third, which was Shrek the Third, but still made money. B movie didn't do that great financially, but it became a huge meme later on down the line. Kung Fu Panda turned into a huge franchise because the first movie did so well. Then you got Madagascar 2 and 3 did really well. Monsters vs. Aliens didn't do that great. And it didn't really go anywhere besides like a really shitty TV show. How to Train Your Dragon did really good. That spawned a franchise. Megamind didn't do too good, although the internet has made it a meme now. Then Shrek Forever After did fine. Kung Fu Panda 2, Puss in Boots did pretty good. The Croods did great. Let's see what else. How to Train Your Dragon 2 made money even though it didn't make as much as it should have. Home did okay. Kung Fu Panda 3, Trolls did okay. Boss Baby did really good. How to Train Your Dragon, the Hidden World did really good. And then last year was a great year for DreamWorks. They had The Bad Guys, but did solid business. And they had Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which despite having a really lackluster start, that thing just it had legs, long legs. That thing just kept going and going and going for weeks and weeks and weeks. Because it got that organic word of mouth. Because once people discovered it, more people, were like, "Oh my god, you gotta watch this movie. This is good." And that's the reason why I watched this movie, because before it came out, I had no interest in it whatsoever. But then I heard everyone else talking about it, and I was like, I gotta see what this is about. And I watched it, and I loved it. Fantastic movie. Probably one of the best, maybe like top 5 DreamWorks movies ever made. Maybe top 2, maybe next to like Shrek 2, potentially. I don't know. But yeah, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, big hit. So DreamWorks has a lot of momentum right now because of Bad Guys and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. So yeah, I'd label DreamWorks as a positive, as a pro, although they do have a lot of cons associated with them, and I'll go over those later. But yeah, DreamWorks, especially now, I label them as a pro. What else? I mean, Ruby Gillman, like, its reviews are okay. They're fine. It has like a 65%, which is nowhere near as good as Bad Guys or Puss in Boots: Last Wish. But it's still okay. And its audience scores at 84%, which isn't ideal, but it's still okay-ish. And then its cinema score, let me check it out. Let me see. Its cinema score was an A minus, which is okay. It's better than Indiana Jones, so at least people like this movie more than Indiana Jones, so it's got that going for it. So I guess it's reviews and audience score and all that. I'd label that as a more of a minor pro, if anything. So that's a minor pro. Um, I think that's it. I really think that's it. Okay, it is it. Cons, oh boy. DreamWorks. Let's go back to them for a quick moment. I label all their successes. I didn't label all their failures though. So let's go over those. Road to El Dorado was tanked, although it became a cult classic later on down the line. And also a meme movie too. Lots of DreamWorks movies become memes. It's kind of crazy how many memes are associated with DreamWorks movies. Then Sinbad, that tanked really hard. Spirit did okay, but still didn't do very good. Flushed Away was a huge bomb when it came out. Pretty much killed DreamWorks' partnership with Aardman. But Wallace and Gromit did good, but Flushed Away, why did it cost 150 million? I don't know why they spent that much money on that. No clue. B movie didn't do good, but I already mentioned it became a huge meme later on down the line. Rise of the Guardians, that was a huge flop that had like some pretty severe consequences for DreamWorks. Although the movie was well received and has a fan base now, it's basically become a cult classic. That movie still did terrible. And then not to mention like Turbo, Mr. Peabody and Sherman. None of these movies are bad movies, but audiences just did not care when they came out, and all of them did really terrible. And then Penguins of Madagascar, considering it was part of the Madagascar franchise, which was very profitable for DreamWorks, that tanked too. So yeah, it was almost at the point where DreamWorks nearly died. They almost shuttered because of these bombs. It was that bad. But thankfully, Home did decent enough to avoid that. Then after that, things got better. I mean, Captain Underpants didn't do great, but it wasn't very expensive at all, so these numbers are passable. Now, Abominable didn't do great, but it could have been worse, I guess. And then obviously the pandemic happened. It's kind of hard to judge a lot of these movies because they had to deal with external circumstances. Like Trolls World Tour didn't even have a theatrical date. It didn't even come out theatrically, at least not in the States. It went to PVOD, and that caused a big hoopla with AMC, and it resulted in AMC being like, we're not going to show any more Universal movies. And then 3 months later, they changed their minds, and yeah, that was a whole moment. And then what else? Cruise A New Age didn't do very well. I mean, it did okay. It did decent considering the circumstances. It was one of the only few bright spots of that very dark time period during like the pandemic phase. And then Spirit Untamed, that did terrible. That just did not do well at all. And Boss Baby Family Business, that was on Peacock at the same time, so I'm not going to be too harsh towards it, but that still didn't do very well. So yeah, DreamWorks movies can be real hit and miss, especially in the last decade. They've been super hit and miss. So DreamWorks is a somewhat shaky track record. I'm labeling that as a con. Another con is that this movie, there's a lot of movies out right now, but the problem is there's a lot of direct competition. There's Spider-Verse, which is still kicking, and there's Elemental, which although that movie is a bomb, it still has a presence in the marketplace. Those two movies are gonna hurt this one because family audiences, they're only gonna spend so much money. I mean, look at like the year 2013. So many family movies came out that summer. You had Epic, you had Monsters University, you had Despicable Me 2, you had Turbo, you had Smurfs 2 and Planes. Only like Monsters University and Despicable Me 2 made a substantial amount of money. The rest did range from okay to terrible in terms of box office. Because, all that competition, I mean, competition is a good thing, but when there's too much competition, you're going to get drowned out, which is a really ironic pun considering this movie. But yeah, all that direct competition. I mean, there won't be any direct competition later until like Haunted Mansion, I guess. But that's PG-13, so I don't know. I guess Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, but that's all the way in August. By that point, this movie's going to be out of theaters, judging by its box office right now. So, yeah. All that direct competition is going to be a con. Another con is that there hasn't been much of a push at all from DreamWorks, or I guess Universal, when it comes to this movie. It didn't help. The movie literally was announced, 3 months ago? It literally existed 3 months ago, and the marketing has been just really small scale, and obviously you're not gonna go very far with small scale marketing. So yeah, just the fact that I feel like Universal just didn't really care that much about this movie. I guess because they maybe, I don't know why they thought this was a good idea. I don't know, but yeah, they're not pushing this movie hard at all. So that's a con, definitely. Trying to think of another con. Oh, it's Thursday previews. Oof. Thursday previews were on par with, made 725,000, which is really poor for a movie like this. So that's obviously bad. I can't really compare this to. I'm pretty sure I can't compare this to Puss in Boots. I don't even think that had previews. I will check. Let me see. Puss in Boots. Last Wish. Where are you? There you are. Yeah, I didn't have previews. So I can't compare it to that. And that opened on Wednesday, right before Christmas, which it makes everything wonky. um, but yeah, these preview numbers look really, really weak. I can't even compare it to Mario because that, you know, that didn't have previews, and I opened on a Wednesday. I guess I compare it to Elemental. I definitely can't compare this to Spider Verse because that's a sequel. Elemental's not a sequel, so it's the best I got. That a Thursday preview 2.4 million. That movie was a bomb. So this Ruby Gillman's preview number is like less than a third of Elemental. So that's a sign of absolute disaster. So yeah, I am labeling that as a pro. I mean, we are as a con. I mean, it's opening day. You already see it. It's horrible. It's abhorrent. So preview number, I guess plus opening day, big con. Um, I think that's really it with cons. I think I labeled all the important things. Okay, so opening weekend, I was thinking like this movie would reach double digits. No shot of that happening now. I mean, I guess for a pro, I could mention 4th of July, but it doesn't matter now. This movie's gonna tank. But a decent amount of 4th of July movies tank, especially in recent memory. I mean, like, what do we have? Terminator Genesis, um, the BFG. Does anyone even remember that movie? I don't think so. Um, Trying to think of some others. I guess Boss Baby 2, that opened on 4th of July. Uh, but yeah, it's been rough. But yeah, 3 day and 5 day, I gotta do that. So 3 day, 6 million max, and it's for 5 day. I don't know, 8 9 million maybe if it's lucky, and then it's total. I don't see this unless this has some Puss in Boots legs. I don't see this reaching past. Probably we're gonna reach like between 20 and 30 million, which, according to like Dreamworks' track record, that would make it, I think, one of like the second lowest grossing DreamWorks movie ever. It'll probably make Sinbad money, which is not a compliment at all. So, and considering the movie cost $70 million, this is gonna lose money. But I don't think Universal cares that much. They have Mario. They really didn't even need to release any more movies after Mario. So yeah, but Ruby Gillman, it's a bomb. And that's it for the weekend. Yay. Ugh. Now remember, I will not be next weekend, probably every weekend after that. I won't be doing these on Saturday morning because I won't have to. As long as the weather isn't super shitty and it doesn't, cause a power outage. As long as that doesn't happen, we'll go back to the normal schedule after this. But yeah, but so June's over. Now we move on to July. We're already technically in July. We have Insidious, The Red Door, and Joyride next weekend. I'm not expecting either of these movies to be big hits, but they could both do all right. They could both do okay. Then after that, there's Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, which I'm expecting to make money because I really want it to do well. I really don't want to be talking about another big bomb, at least not anytime soon. But I think it will do well. I have faith in that movie. And then after that, you got Barbie and Oppenheimer. Barbie's expected to do really, really well because it has a lot of hype. Mainly online hype, but that online hype is generating into general hype, which is a good thing. Now, Oppenheimer, you got like Christopher Nolan's fan base. Like, the dude has enough of a fan base to make sure this movie makes some money. And then the end of the month, you got Haunted Mansion, which I'm not expecting to do that well. That'll be my next bomb I talk about. And then Talk to Me, that could do fine, maybe, I don't know. And that's what July looks like. And then August actually, I don't know. August could be better than June when it comes to like the hit the miss ratio, which is saying a lot. But yeah, that's what the future looks like. The immediate future looks like. So yeah, but yeah, so stay tuned for those prediction videos. But yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. Want to check out more videos like this? Got playlists on the homepage. All previous prediction videos I made this year. You want to watch any of those or any of the ones I've done the past few years? You can go right ahead. There's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come up but didn't. I covered Ruby Gillman once, only because that's when it was announced. Um, that was episode 182. I talked about it alongside Knights of the Zodiac and Ordinary Angels. So, yeah, that was when it was announced. That's why I talked about it. So, you want to watch that episode or any other ones I've done? There's now 196 episodes. So, you want to watch any of those from beginning to now? You want to binge them all from beginning to now? I highly encourage you to do that. So, go do it. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. Um, June recap will come out mid July, around the same time as Dead Reckoning Part 1. Ooh, oh, get ready for a storm of negativity with that video because June has just been god awful. It started out so good with Across the Spider Verse, and then it just completely crumbled. It cratered after that. So there will be a lot to discuss. So stay tuned for that video. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.